All right, let's get straight into it. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we are tackling a massive, honestly almost silent epidemic. Did you know that around 90% of people across the globe are missing out on their absolute best life opportunities? And look, it's not because they aren't smart, and it's definitely not because they aren't hardworking. It is simply because they don't know how to communicate effectively. They just kind of miss the mechanics of how a great conversation actually works. If you've ever felt unheard or maybe passed over for something you deserved, you might be in that 90%. But today, we're going to fix that. We are breaking down the ultimate 5 toolkit to help you absolutely master your communication. To really wrap our heads around this problem, picture someone standing in front of a room, nervously rattling off dry facts. They say, the Great Pyramids of Egypt are made of 2 million blocks. Each block weighs 2.5 tons. It's stiff, it's boring, and the communication skill level is basically zero. Now, imagine that exact same person, but instead they open with, when I was a kid, I loved watching movies that got me absolutely fascinated with Egyptian architecture. Suddenly, their delivery is relaxed, it's clear. Same person, same topic, totally different result. The difference here? One is just robotic reciting, and the other is using intentional communication skills to actually tell a story. So how do we get you to that confident second version? Well, here's the game plan. We are going to unpack 5 highly actionable tools. True empathy, the 3 Ps, name hacks, the echoing technique, and finally, the unspoken rules. Let's dive right into our first foundation, Technique 1, True Empathy, or as it's better known today, matching the vibe. True empathy means stepping entirely into your listener's perspective and actually speaking their language. Think about this for a second. Recently, at the National Creators Award, the 75-year-old Prime Minister of India walked onto the stage and immediately said, "Let's do a little vibe check." A 75-year-old world leader seamlessly dropping Gen Z slang. He knew exactly who was sitting in his audience, and to build a powerful connection, he knew he had to match their frequency. Elite speakers do this all the time. Spiritual leaders like Sadhguru will suddenly drop a super casual, "Come on, you guys, let's go," just to instantly connect with a younger, modern crowd. They are matching the vibe. But here's the thing. Empathy goes way beyond just the words you choose. It is about genuinely feeling their emotions. If a buddy comes up to you and says, "Man, I didn't pass my exam," the standard kind of generic response is usually just, "Oh, don't worry, you'll clear it next year." But true empathy, that requires you to pause and actually feel their pain first. Put yourself in their shoes. How crushed would you feel? When you respond from that shared feeling of frustration, your response becomes authentic. That genuine emotional resonance is exactly what makes your communication truly powerful. Okay, shifting gears a bit to the actual physical mechanics of speaking. Technique 2, the 3 Ps of vocal delivery. This right here is the absolute secret weapon used by top-tier stand-up comedians and the world's most captivating public speakers. It is how you take total control over the flow of any conversation. The rule breaks down into 3 distinct elements: pause, pace, and pitch. Let's look at exactly how you can use every single one of these starting today. First up, the pause. Now, it sounds simple, right? Just stopping. But a deliberate pause is literally a weapon. When you're talking and you suddenly just stop, your listener's brain goes on high alert. They instantly lean in. They're wondering, wait, what is he going to say next? It creates this really powerful suspense and makes whatever follows infinitely more engaging. Then we have the second P, which is pace, your speed of delivery. What's really interesting here is the concept of balance. If your pace is way too fast, your words blend together and the listener just gets totally confused and overwhelmed. But on the flip side, if you speak way too slowly, their brain checks out and you cause instant boredom. You really need to find that natural, balanced rhythm where the listener can comfortably digest your ideas. And the third P is pitch. This is the strategic rise and fall of your vocal tone. Think about it like this. When you're just giving background information, you speak normally, keeping it nice and relaxed. But the moment you hit a point that is absolutely crucial, your pitch goes up. Do you hear the difference there? Raising your pitch on keywords signals to the listener's brain that this specific moment contains the most important emotion and information. It grabs their focus instantly. Moving on to technique 3, name hacks. This is the ultimate attention grabber. Fun fact for you, if there is one word in any language that a person loves hearing more than absolutely anything else, it is their own name. And nobody leverages this psychological phenomenon better than Starbucks. When you order, they don't just hand you a cup of coffee. They write your name on it. Then they call your name out loud across the cafe. Hearing your name makes you feel seen. It kind of makes you feel special. And because you feel special, what happens? You take a photo of that cup, you post it on social media, and you just gave a multi-billion-dollar company free marketing. That is the psychological power of a name. The crazy part is, you can harness that exact same trick every single day. Compare a super generic nice to meet you with a deeply personal nice to meet you, Rohit. Instantly, that sentence transforms. A person's name isn't just a word, it is deeply tied to their identity. Dropping their name into the conversation makes them feel valued immediately, and it automatically builds a much stronger connection.
Next up is technique 4, the echoing technique, which is amazing for keeping a conversation flowing.
This is the absolute perfect behavioral tool for when you just freeze up. You know that feeling, right? The other person is talking, and you are panicking inside wondering what on earth you're going to say next. Well, echoing forms a seamless 3-step safety net. Step 1, you catch a single keyword or important phrase they just said. Step 2, softly and naturally repeat that word back to them. And Step 3, add your own short thought or question. Let's actually see it in action. Let's say someone says to you, "Man, I just really love traveling." You don't need a brilliant, witty response. You just use the technique. Catch the keyword, repeat it softly, and add a question. You say, "Traveling. Nice. Where have you been so far?" That's it. Repeating that one word proves you are actually listening. It makes them feel emotionally validated and their thoughts respected. It builds real connection without you having to fake interest or a panic about finding the absolute perfect reply. And that brings us to our final tool, Technique 5, the unspoken rules and your body language basics. Psychology tells us that the very first 7 seconds of your interaction dictate your entire first impression. That's before you even speak a single word. So I want this massive number burned into your memory right now, 50/70. This is the golden rule of eye contact. Your eyes don't just see, they broadcast your confidence, your emotions, and your intentions to whoever is standing in front of you. So here is exactly how that 50/70 math breaks down. When you are the one doing the speaking, you should try to maintain eye contact about 50% of the time. But when you switch to listening, you need to bump that up and maintain eye contact at least 70% of the time. This specific ratio is the ultimate sweet spot. It makes you appear genuinely attentive, deeply interested, and highly confident, all without crossing the line into intense, creepy staring territory. But hey, eye contact is just the beginning. Your physical presence is constantly talking. Your posture, the way you use your hand gestures, how you walk into a room, and even how you sit down in a chair. All of these physical movements collectively broadcast your internal confidence level to the entire world. Truth is, your body language often speaks way louder than your words ever could. Wow, okay, we have covered a massive amount of ground today. True empathy to match their vibe, the 3 Ps to control the rhythm, name hacks to make them feel special, the echoing technique to keep the flow alive, and the unspoken rules to master your physical presence. So, I'm going to leave you with this final provocative thought. Which of these 5 tools will you actively choose to use in your very next conversation today? Pick just one, apply it immediately, and stop missing out on the opportunities that are waiting for you. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I'll catch you next time.